Since the beginning of humankind, there has always been stories of heroes, adventure, conquests, and quests to find the deeper meaning of life. But there's perhaps none greater than the story of Bilbao, the lone wanderer in 5000 BC. Deep in the archives of human history, many do not know the harrowing tale of Bilbao, the lone wanderer, born in modern-day Ethiopia. Secrets of this tale have been guarded by the world's elite for many years, fearing that public knowledge of it would cause mass hysteria, or worse, unwillingness to play by the government rules due to a new awareness of the universe. But they do not know that while this story might cause pain in people, it would help all beings, create an explosion of inspiration and new consciousness. The tale of Bilbao started when two parents, Nuru and Pleban, gave birth to a beautiful baby in the city of Yeha. While he was growing up, he excelled in all subjects, all trades, amazing his fellow villagers and parents. His father, Pleban, a woodworker, would never know that his son would surpass his own woodworking trade by the age of 11 years old. As Bilbao grew older, however, he became restless. It seemed that after all the great things he was doing with science, craftsmanship, music, and art, there was something pulling him to become more, to do something else. At the tender age of 18, he left his city, unannounced. He did not know where to go, but an energy pulled him to his destination. He did not understand literally what was happening, but it made sense on an intuitive level to him. After walking for 5 years, meeting new people and customs, he made his way to the west coast of Africa. Once he got there, he became hopeless. What am I doing here? Why did I leave my family just to come here and not know what the meaning of this is? This became a very challenging time for him for weeks. One day, after weeks of feeling doubtful, having emotional storms, and feeling lost, he remembered something from his upbringing. Since he was 2 years old, his father, Pleban, taught him the noble skill of dement, meditation, by the sacred myrrh trees. Soon he was meditating for days on end. Villagers saw this, and, awed by his energy, would come to give him offerings of food and water every day and night. Days and days on end he would sit, meditating, and the word of his overwhelming energy emitting from him spread far and wide, and kings, religious leaders, and townspeople from far and wide would come to see his gleaming spirit. He then woke. "A ship!" he shouted. "We must build one!" Although some resisted and were skeptical, many helped him with a spontaneous request out of gratitude to his light that helped them. Months passed and a huge ship was built. While this was happening, surprisingly, animals from far and wide started coming straight to this location and boarded this creation. Villagers were in awe. "Why is this happening?" some said. "What blasphemy is this?" some said. Soon the whole ship was full of animals far and wide. Bilbao soon departed, taking 143 people. Many were enraged by his leaving, but Bilbao knew this had to be done. Things were making more sense to Bilbao now on a deeper level. After leaving the coast, frightening things started to happen. From off the coast, the people and animals saw lightning strikes on the ground, on land, earthquakes ravaging the land, and tornadoes running rampant. Bilbao was concerned, but he knew that all this has to be done for a purpose. After 3 days of the earth being shattered by natural disasters, a light beamed down from the sky right onto Bilbao. Bilbao was shot up and it seemed millions of miles high into space, but all Bilbao could see was light. He awoke in a room where the walls seemed to be buzzing silently. Around him were human-type creatures with huge eyes and gray skin with no clothes. There were 4 of them, and the closest to him said, "Bilbao!" Bilbao jolted back in the bed he woke up in. "We are glad you are here." Bilbao felt extremely scared, but somehow felt he had remembered these people. "We have brought you up to our home to tell you what has happened." Bilbao wanted to talk, but somehow couldn't pull himself to. The human creature went on. "I hope you remember us. We are the originals. We want you to stay here, but we don't have much time. We must remind you of the sacred source, quickly. Eons ago, there was a city in the middle of the earth. We all lived here. It was a time where people lived in almost constant fulfillment and connection to the source. We all interacted with each other totally, knowing and feeling the energy within ourselves and others at all times. However, there was a feeling of change that was pervading the atmosphere. One day, a human by the name of Sharon began to act differently. He began to scream every day, saying that he had a revelation. His eyes were different than ours, and many did not understand him. He spoke of a new feeling of pleasure through a certain ideology. He started labeling everything as good and evil. Many felt intoxicated with this new ideology. One day he decided to leave the city and make a new home on Earth. Many followed him. Even though not all people understood his ideas, many went unconscious just hearing his message. An epic battle ensued between our city and the city on the surface. We lost and were forced to leave and find refuge in what we call the interdimensional galaxy. Now, while it is extremely sad, we know that all this happened for a reason. Our species was due for a shift in consciousness. While we are naturally connected to each other completely and intimately, this was the way our species was to grow. Sharon left because he found a way of thinking where he could control people and receive a certain kind of pleasure through ideas of right and wrong. Whoever was right was in the clear, and whoever was wrong was usually dejected by society and Sharon. People were constantly fearful whether they were good or evil, and they looked for that acceptance from Sharon. They were completely in his control. Sharon did not know that eventually in the system, whoever is in charge of labeling people good or bad would eventually be overthrown and replaced by a new one, and so on. Now we know that our species went through this painful process in order to learn from it and become a species that is not only completely connected to each other and the source, but also know the sacred knowledge to become connected to it again if we're ever disconnected. We give you this talisman to go back to Earth and bury it. The talisman has the sacred knowledge and will reappear when the skies have turned red and the air has turned gold. Bilbao was immediately shot back to Earth and on a ship in the immediate moment where he had left. Bilbao, the humans, and the animals wandered the seas for 12 months and eventually reached a new land. There were people there, with new customs, a new language, and an intimate respect for the earth. Unfortunately, Bilbao fell sick once he got there, not used to the new environment. Bilbao eventually set foot deeper into the new land, and he saw a tree, bigger than any other tree that he'd seen before. He looked at the talisman. The first thing that went into his head was, your thoughts create your reality. Suddenly Bilbao was again raised into the sky, high into the sky, dropping the talisman behind him, never to be seen again.